Why
No,
do we get golf clap?
You remind me of the babe.
What babe?
The babe with the power.
What power?
Power of the voodoo.
Voodoo.
You do.
Do what?
Remind me of the babe. I sold my baby. Hi everyone. Welcome to Alpha Book Club. Happy Nerdoween. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. My name's Maud Garrett, otherwise known as the Goblin Queen. This evening, we could do that for Halloween. That could be really fun.
Yes,
No?
you could be Goblin Queen, Jareth, obviously. You could be Jennifer Connelly. And I could be...
When she's less annoying by the at the
Sure.
end when she's like,
You
you
have
have no power.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Power.
And I could be Hoggle.
Could you though? Could you do a really good?
Oh my
Hoggle?
God, Vicky could
so.
be Sir Didymus.
Oh,
That means I get to say
Yes.
thanks for nothing, Hogwart, because they say Hogwart in
I
it.
know. And
Way
J.K.
before
Rowling
Harry
was
Potter.
listening,
Yeah.
and she was
With
stored
the
it away in her
W?
subconscious brain, and then later was like, that'll be the name of the school.
Anyway, joining me as usual,
Nothing's
as you've
original.
just met, we've got Jennifer Connelly, which is so great. Thank you so much for joining us as
gosh.
well and taking
Love
time out
doing
of
a
your
beautiful
busy
mind.
schedule.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Jennifer Connelly now is so cool. Like when you see her at events, she's like wearing
sleek and
really
chic.
cool fashion with orange rain boots, but they're chic. You know, they're very.
Oh my God, I
so-
loved you as the voice of Spider-Man suit. I thought you were really great. You were really, really great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as always, we've got Hoggle too.
I'm a Hoggle or whatever. God girl.
And thank you so much to our Alpha community sticking by us every single week. And thank you also for indulging us in our little love fest that we
one's
had
back.
on Twitter last week after the show, where we realized this is our favorite part of the week. And it's only our favorite part because we realized how much we love talking about books, but we get to talk it with you each and every single week.
Wait, that was just like a text chain between us, you guys. That was not on
We tweeted a lot as well.
We did?
tweeted
We
about
tweeted
it
a
too.
lot.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Yeah, favorite part of the week. I even posted up on Instagram saying it's the favorite part of my week. It was
that's so
a
nice.
big love fest. But
true.
guys, we really do want you on the show. And I know we say this every single week and it's a part of the script at this particular stage, so you expect it. But I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
We
wanna
see
get
your
some
names
thoughts.
every week, and I love your alias. I love that, but I also love knowing who you are, your name, what you look like, and what your opinions are. And chat with us. I know it can be intimidating. I haven't put down my glass yet, and I haven't had a sip of it either.
Well, I've got an
It's
icebreaker.
just there as almost like
if
a prop.
it's intimidating, I got
Yeah.
an icebreaker you can
Go
lob
on.
out there, Maud. You want to lob it? Ask the chat.
Yeah.
Ask the chat what's their favorite Halloween or horror movie to
They
get us
heard
into
it.
the season.
I reckon they heard that already.
No.
What's your favorite
What's the
Halloween or horror movie?
Oh my God, that's a great question.
Thanks,
really good
Beacom. I
question,
love
yeah.
the support that we're getting right
Yeah,
here
yeah,
in
yeah.
the studio, and that
Yeah.
could be the icebreaker, and we could chat about it because it's going to be horror bull to be on the show. No,
Rachel's favorite is Labyrinth, is it?
I mean, Labyrinth
If you-
is an
if you
all
count-
year.
Okay, fair enough.
movie.
All right, okay.
Picture,
All right, that's fair.
But Halloween.
Is it Hocus Pocus?
ooh,
Is it
I'm
Nightmare?
going to give that a hell no.
The
that
girl?
middle girl, I don't like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Oh, I
Not a
would
fan
marry
of that.
her. I would
don't
marry
like
her.
it. You can't see it, but she's up there looking all
That's-
creepy as hell.
That's
Yeah,
the
she's
that's the woman
scary.
you marry.
You can see it
Put
on
a
Nerdist
ring
News.
on
Talks
it.
back though every day, weekday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Her, she's freaky.
right
She's
there.
got
I like.
dead eyes.
I like the little.
Oh, I didn't
girl.
see she's got black holes in her
Yeah.
eyes. I don't like that. I don't like Halloween
an
now. I've
effect.
said it. It's out
Maud,
there.
what's your favorite horror
We like
movie?
dressing up. I imagine, right?
It's just not, we didn't have Halloween
Oh,
in
that's
Australia.
true.
It's not a
'Cause
thing.
I
and
only
then
think
Australia
'cause of
went,
your
wait,
birthday."
we can dress like really sexy skanky and no one's going to comment. And so we all just did it.
Oh yeah, that's the same
And
thing
be
here.
drunk. Another reason
should-
to drink.
Yeah.
You should do. You were. Were you Cinderella?
I was for my birthday. I was
Yeah,
Cinderella.
you should dress up. That was so great. That was
I know,
such a
I
great
need to get
costume.
another use for
Yeah.
sure.
That was
There
a
you
good
go.
one. Hocus Pocus is a good one for me. I love The Craft.
Oh no, it's in
Little cork.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nope.
I'm
haven't
watching. I'm watching some spooky movies that I haven't seen. A couple of indie ones. And
Like.
I just watched one that was. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I can recommend.
One where this
honestly
woman and then you
recommend
stop.
it.
Stop. Don't tell
No,
me.
you all had to. Which one?
Thierry.
It's like, nope.
Thierry says. Thierry
bud.
says Army of Darkness.
No, I won't watch that.
Uh,
Try and name
The
a horror
Witch.
movie I have seen. You can't.
A horror movie that
yeah.
you've seen.
Yeah.
Well, that depends. Like, does The Sixth Sense count as horror?
Okay. Yes.
So you've seen it.
because,
So
but,
boom,
but
gotcha, nailed it.
When
Boom,
I was
done.
14, I
They
wrecked a
lied.
girl's
Boom,
birthday because she wanted to see Sixth Sense for her birthday and I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. And
Yeah.
she's like, "You're wrecking my birthday." And I was like, "I will not watch the movie." Did. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm a bit scared."
That's
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
feel about roller coasters. Like I'll go on a Disneyland ride, but if you're going to Six Flags,
Bye.
I'm eating Dippin' Dots outside the line, just hanging out waiting for you.
Yeah, no, the feeling of free fall is something, and I think there's a video somewhere out there that someone's bound to find, but I've been so scared that I've been screaming and, I scream and then couldn't, but was still doing a screaming face.
Yeah,
So I
because
was
you
like,
ran out of breath.
No, because the pain, the fear hit an extra notch up where I was so
were like an
scared I couldn't
octave
even
too
make
high.
the noise.
Only dogs within 5 miles were like, oh, there's
So
a
like,
woman who's scared. Oh, man.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
Hey, do you know what? It's not scary. This segue leading into Gone Girl. Yeah, smooth.
What does that sticky note say?
It says Maud.
Okay, great.
my
House
book.
of the Devil, that's a good one.
It's my book. Oh, no, thank you.
Child's Play, that's another one.
That's not even funny. Is it, Andy? That's not
Chucky.
funny. Not funny.
Chucky.
No,
That's that one.
we
Oh, I need
don't
to watch the new Chucky
I don't know what
movie.
my favorite horror movie is. I don't know if I have one.
Horror, I would maybe say I really love Hellraiser.
Jesus world.
It's just so cool.
It's so
the
stupid and so
no,
gross and
the,
weird.
The practical effects are so dope.
Some of them are pretty rad. I don't know. I like what are some good alien movies? I guess Alien maybe.
Yeah.
Alien. What?
Signs.
Yeah, someone
Somebody
says
say
science.
Science is
I like
scary
Signs.
until the end when
It
they
is.
explain it.
Okay, but even then it's cool.
But the scene where
Who is Mrs.
yeah.
Kylo Ren, by the
Oh
way?
man,
It's
Yep.
you, Aaron, this
Yep.
whole time.
the whole time. The Conjuring.
I
Yeah,
saw
Science
your-
is great.
oh, The Conjuring's
Oh,
cool.
but that little part in the middle of the theater, in the
No.
middle of the movie, in the theater, with Signs, where it's that little like Mexican kid's birthday.
Oh, that's where it where the
so scary.
he's-
Mira, ahí está detrás, it's behind. And then
and
the
you-
alien walks
and
out.
it stops and it looks and you're like, no.
Yeah, it's so great. Maud, we should watch scary movies together. It's
I
so
know,
much
new
fun.
Show.
But
New
only when
show
they're
where we
good.
make Maud watch
Oh,
scary
let's do that.
I'm like crying, thinking about doing that.
I'm already picturing the amount it would take to pay Maud to do that
Yeah,
show.
they-
And I'm like, ooh, does Nerdist have that kind of budget? Does
No.
Alpha have that kind of budget?
We'll
Because
need
it
a
could get some.
Kickstarter.
It could get some internet clicks.
Guys, I would.
A rated
I've
R
never seen
movie
The Exorcist.
discussion.
Oh.
That's a must watch.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this perhaps, and I'm fearful of saying
Mm-hmm.
the same story 9 times, but
Like,
we'll dig.
Wait.
yeah,
will
I
that-
got it.
Thank you. But I would sit next to the television while my friends would watch a horror movie, and I
Sure.
would watch them.
Yes.
That's worse.
No,
But that really
yeah,
is
that's-
worse.
No, it's
because
great.
your imagination's running wild, and you have a good imagination.
I have a
'cause you're
really good
reader.
imagination.
That's
That's
your
why I think
that's
it's
your
bad.
effing problem. Number one, step one, read the synopsis on Wikipedia. Step two,
Yes.
watch special features.
Do you know how
so
I-
you can see that it's all practical effects and stuff. And then when you see dudes like rigging up, you
ruins
know what I
the
mean?
scare.
Yes, it does. But then
That's
Maud
what
will
I
be fine.
need.
And then
Oh,
Maud
right.
will be the type of person that can go finally get to a point.
Do you know what I
where
really
she
do
can
need?
go see a movie.
And I've discovered this on a very bad date. But the good thing that came out of it was, I think I was watching not The Conjuring. It's the other one. Doesn't matter.
This clap one.
Insidious.
The Insidious.
Oh.
And he would commentate the entire time. So he's going to walk in, and then the ladder's going to drop down in about 2 seconds. There
That's
it is,
really
and
sweet.
then no
Did that
jump scares.
help?
I got rid of all jump scares. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
telling me everything that's about to happen.
Read the Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
That to
Did you
me
see- did you
feels like
see-
reading the end of a book.
Yes,
Like,
which it is.
Which I've done on Alpha
Yeah.
Book Club.
I get it.
I heard about the last sentence of the entire series of the Dark Tower. The Dark
that's
Tower.
right.
Oh yeah,
I found
that
at the
that I
end.
appreciate.
Do
because
you
of
want-
like
well,
what is happening in this
It's like,
book.
Hey,
look,
he's a good-
that's the only way we can get Maud to see The Exorcist. Did you see Get Out this year?
Yes!
That's a horror movie.
I
was a good
hated
one.
it.
Oh, it was
so
fantastic.
I was so scared.
It's so
Java
glad.
Book Geek Girl B Comp says, I want Alpha Book Club movie night to be a thing given how many books have been turned into movies that we've read.
Would be nice
Special
to do that,
occasion.
but the rights alone.
Could we do it like
Oh,
on a
yeah.
live tweet?
Could
or
they
something?
watch us
Oh, yeah.
watch the movie?
See, what we could do
Yeah.
is, as long as we don't do picture in picture,
Right.
we could theoretically
Film
hey, we're
us.
putting the movie on and start
Now.
it right.
Sync it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And then we'd watch Gone Girl and just like
And
talk
we'd
shit about
only
it the
have
whole
our
time.
audio.
We couldn't broadcast it out.
Yeah.
You'd hear it. You
You'd
could
hear our
comment.
comment.
And, you know, that's how
Mm-hmm.
we
And if we
Right.
play it at like 1.5 times the speed, we could probably get through the whole movie in an hour.
break it up into 2 episodes.
Okay, that's smart.
Or
too.
a
That's
double
probably real clever.
size
Or double-sized Alpha Book
sleep
Club. We could also do
movie
two for
night.
one.
Or just
I mean,
come
I
over
could
to
do
one
this
of our
every
houses
night.
and we're just we live
I know,
tweet
I
it.
would too. We just
We
hang
live
out
tweet
and
it.
drink wine.
Yeah. that'd be
Talk
great.
about books and other stuff.
Cool.
Hey,
Like-
so anyway,
books.
Yeah, let's chat about this one. Gone Girl, guys. Now, I usually weigh in because I have been listening to the books more and more. A lot of that has to do with travel. I haven't been able to sit down with a book very much. And every day I walk my dogs and every day I'm in a car. So I'm
Yeah.
listening.
Yep.
And every time I talk about audio books, I bag the narrator. This book has two narrators,
Yes.
a man and a woman, who's doing both parts for Nick and Amy.
Mm-hmm.
They are both so incredible
Oh, good.
Great.
that this listening experience
Mm-hmm.
is the best I've ever had with all of
Ooh,
Audible
nice.
and audiobooks. And it is adding to the whole book. Everything is just so much better. So if you too like to listen, I cannot recommend this enough. And I think it's better
Great.
than reading it. And I think it's better than watching the movie, is listening to the
Ooh,
audio.
that makes me want to
Really?
switch at the like for the next two.
Ooh.
But statistically speaking, this is one of about 12, 15 books that I've listened
Sure.
to. And like,
That's a
two or
high
three.
praise. Alpha Book Club approved.
There it is. Cool.
Yeah.
So good on you guys.
Awesome.
So let's talk about the first part of the book, how it all set up, what we thought of Nick and Amy.
Java Boogie Girl says, summary of how I felt about this section of Gone Girl. Damn it, Nick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Accurate. Yeah.
So a lot of you we've discovered haven't actually watched the movie, and so
No.
this is you're taking it all in for the first time, and we're realizing that neither Amy nor Nick are very likable. But the first part of this book, especially continuing into the second chunk that we've read of the first half of the book, is that Nick is a dick.
Yeah.
Nick the dick.
yeah, he's
We
a
can-
piece of shit human
And
being.
yeah,
There it is.
and
Okay,
he
great.
and he looks so guilty. He's having
This guy
Yes.
is a compulsive liar.
dreams about her having her skull bashed in, like,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, are you remembering this? Are you picturing it? What is happening
Yeah.
here? Because I don't trust you or your version of anything that's
So
happening.
what I love that Gillian does is she actually projects red flags. So when you're reading it, like,
Yes.
ooh, that's a red flag, and you're realizing that you're building your own evidence and in a case
Or
yourself.
it might be a red herring.
yeah,
Because you don't know how reliable. Because here's the thing, it's almost so cliched that we're supposed to hate Nick. Nick will even tell you, I'm having an affair. Here's the part of the story where you hate
me.
Where
But
you
you're
hate
going,
me.
I already
And it's-
did.
I
Right,
mean,
and
I
it's
think
so,
that's fair.
yes, but it is so, but it is so obvious the fact that
Just leave your
there's.
wife.
We learned that the crime
break
scene
up.
that blood was wiped up.
Yes.
Yeah.
We learned that there's massive credit card debt. We learn all these things
Yeah.
that, as far as we can tell within that story, Nick is like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yes, and it seems genuine, but then he's
Yes.
a compulsive liar.
Correct. So, but it seems so, so obvious that he killed her that I feel like this is a twisty turny, like it's going to head towards something else. So even the way that it's written seems so
I know, because
obvious.
you're only halfway through the book, and
Correct.
you're like, what else is
Correct.
there?
Yes.
Not to get on a tangent, because I'm sure we could all talk about this the rest of the show, so we can't do that.
But we are living walking tangents. Go on.
But
We are
feel like
living
we can-
walking
we
tangents,
can
and that's
all
Alpha Book
appreciate-
Club in a
That's our byline.
sentence.
in the most recent The Last Jedi trailer,
Mm-hmm.
they're building towards everyone thinking that Rey
Oh, you
is
know some
going
of
to
that
the
stuff
dark
is
side,
Jedi
and you're
trials.
like,
You know some of it's Jedi trials.
it's and you're
That's it.
and
That,
well,
and he's
hallucinations.
got the marking on his face to heal the wound, and then he doesn't have it in this particular scene.
Yeah,
There's
well, it's-
inconsistencies.
and I think too that
point,
well, I
good
think
point.
that could be later after it's healed, but they're directing you so much to be like, oh no, she's gonna turn to the dark side, that you're like, there's no way, that's
Exactly.
too
That's-
obvious. So I do
yes.
feel like yes, with a book that's this clever
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
sorry,
twisty.
anyone who didn't want to watch the trailer.
Oh.
Good on you. You're few and far between. Hold out. I
Oh,
believe
nobody
in
said
you. May
anything
the
yet.
force be with you.
I have a feeling that everybody
know
who's
how
hanging out
anyone-
in Alpha Book Club has
Yeah,
already seen the
probably
trailer.
watched
We're
the
fine. We're
trailer,
fine.
yeah.
We're in the
Did
clear.
you wash
We're in the
your
clear.
hair recently? I keep smelling
It
it's either
smells
a
of
fragrance
lavender.
or
I
and
thought you
it's
were. I was
really
like,
nice.
does it look dirty?
No, I keep getting wafts
Maude.
of this beautiful feminine fragrance.
Oh, that's
And
my
I'm-
Old Spice deodorant.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's my manly
Smells
Old
really
Spice.
Maybe it's
No,
my
it's not.
lipstick.
Anyway,
I don't
sorry, tangents. But
Weird.
the
The
moral
answer
of
is
that,
no.
the moral of that is, it's very, very easy and effortless to make someone's day. So if you see someone that
Yeah.
there's a nice outfit put together, someone's doing a good deed, anything at all, just say it.
I'm a big fan of that.
There you go.
Wait,
because
what-
everyone
compliments.
here
Oh, yeah.
are dicks. So you can be better than Nick, which is not hard.
I hate something about this book. Can
Go
I?
on.
Can I? Can
Yeah.
I be real with you guys?
Yeah,
And
Julian's got a hard G. Go on.
Yes. Mocha35 says, talk about books and learn more on Star Wars. I'm enjoying
Oh,
this.
cool, cool, cool.
I
Yeah, good.
am so delighted anytime Maud makes herself laugh because Maud is very funny, and I always like it when Maud
know.
is like
And
only.
she's like-
But she's the only person laughing at
Yeah.
what Maud said. I think that's always really funny. You know, it's really good. Here's the thing I don't like about this book,
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
and it might be my own insecurity and stuff. But I talked about this with my girlfriend. I don't like how this book. I hate the cynicism in this. I don't like how we're spending this much time with pieces of shit human beings. Amy as well in the way that she is presenting her side of the story, and then also withholding things from Nick, and then also
She's victimizing herself.
victimizing herself,
Yeah.
but just the lack of communication between the two of these people.
For so
I hate
long,
them.
3
For
years.
years.
More than half of their marriage.
Hate it. And then that leads me to this. This is what I hate about this book. It makes me reevaluate and rethink my own relationship
Why?
with me and my girlfriend
What?
in my real life.
Are you more relieved with your relationship?
Oh,
in comparison?
Of course, yes, but it's not
LOL, no.
but it's not a
That would be
comparison
weird.
thing. But it's a thing where, like, because of how terrible these people are to themselves,
Yes.
it makes me reflect and it makes me think. Well, you should check in with Abby. You got to check in with her to let her know. And then I get mad at the fact that I'm doing that just based off of this book because I'm like, no, for better or worse, whatever relationship I have with a real life person in the real world should not be affected because I'm reading a cautionary tale or whatever this is. But then at the same time, I'm like, it's not a bad thing to
Yeah.
just be considerate and compassionate.
Yeah.
But it's a thing I have a weird thing about even saying I love you too after somebody says I love you because
I
it feels
thought
like a
about
pre-programmed
Yes.
response. You know
I
what I'm
thought
saying?
about that
As
after
opposed
you
to
said
being
that
genuine.
the other week.
Yeah.
Because I do that, and I talked to my boyfriend about it. I was like, you know, you don't have to say it back,
Right.
right? But I think
I have the opposite.
Oh.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, you better. When I say I love you, you say you better. You'd better, you'd better, you'd better. It's like, that's sweet, but it's also like a pre-programmed.
it is a little bit. But I think to counter your point, as someone who is deeply cynical about interpersonal relationships,
Yes. Please help me.
a hopeful cynic. You know, I like to be proven wrong, but I do think that I think that a piece of art, literature, film, music, what have you,
Yeah.
having you question your own life and how you react to it is only a good thing.
Yeah.
And I also think that when people are like, marriage is work, it is, because being around another person, relationships in general, even
Yes.
if you're not going to get married,
I think you're almost resenting the fact that you need to be reminded to kind of lift your game.
and you,
Yes.
and I think that
Yeah,
people do, and
that's
that's in
true.
any kind of
You're
relationship,
comfortable.
friendship as well, because you don't know what is going on, and we've had this conversation before a little bit. You don't know what's going on in someone's head or life
No.
at all.
Never.
And the only way is either for them to offer that or for you to offer them that chance to do that.
Yeah.
And you can only control one of those.
Yes.
So I think depending on the person, obviously some people don't like when you ask them questions about themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Some people do. You have to figure out what that is in your own relationships. But I do think that it is so easy. There's a Beatles lyric, which sounds really cliche, but whenever I hear it, it reminds me of this. It's from "I'm Looking Through You," and it says, "Love has a nasty habit of disappearing overnight."
Yeah.
And I think about that a lot because
Yeah.
when you don't pay
Yeah.
attention to something, you don't know that something else is happening there. So I think even though it's scary to say like it is work and you should check in, like
I want to applaud everything that you've said. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
physically put my hands together and applaud it.
you can
'cause
do
I
that.
There it is. Seriously. But you are so right.
Rachel
Yeah,
Hine,
no
ladies and
ways.
gentlemen, Rachel Hine,
provoking
saving your
thought.
relationship, your marriage, what have you.
because then you start
real time.
it starts small. It starts where you don't feel
Yes.
comfortable telling someone, or you're like, gosh, I'm complaining too much, or I don't want to do this, and it can get out of hand so quickly because we are such fragile people, even
And
if
we're
we
always-
put on a face.
We're always wrapped up in our own shit. And I
Yes,
think that this book
everyone.
does a really good job of showcasing how both of these human
Yes,
beings
so-
have their own different insecurities, but they're still insecurities about relationships to begin with. Amy freaks out that she doesn't have a perfect marriage because her parents painted her as a perfect fictional character.
Yes.
Nick freaks out about any communication because his father's a piece of shit and his mother always put up with it.
Yes.
And he did. So he
He's
has
so
no,
complacent.
like they do, like Gillian Flynn does such a good job of setting up that this guy had a failed male father
model,
figure,
yeah.
role model,
Yeah.
to
Which
show
is
him how to be a
Can be
man.
devastating.
Yeah.
It can be devastating, but it also she also does such a great job of making it seem so normal because it's very common.
It
It's
is
very common for that to happen. It's when I'm reading this, I'm thinking about the term toxic masculinity over and over again. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what people are talking about when they use that term, because it makes kind of perfect sense. She sets up for Nick to be the piece of shit that he is, and it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Which is a problem in itself, but both of these people were genetically engineered to be pieces of shit from their parents for totally different reasons. So
Genetically and through I mean nature and
Nurture,
nurture. You know,
yes.
you have
Yeah.
that combo. But I think too, to that point, everyone has their own shit, and that affects them differently from their childhood, from their family, whatever. But also, going back to our very first book when we were talking about being a Theodora or
Eleanor.
an Eleanor, and something that's helped me as someone who feels like more of an Eleanor, if you guys have not watched our very first one, we did The Haunting of Hill House. You can watch it on Alpha.
Nearly a year old.
A year old. When I feel insecure and or shy, which is often, the only way that I can, you kind of have to, you just ignore that and you go on with your life. The way that I do that is I think, well, I'm so wrapped up with all the things that I'm doing wrong and all the ways that I've fucked up that everyone else has to be doing that too. And they're not even, I'm not paying attention to anyone else's
that's a good way to
stuff.
look at
Like,
it.
I don't notice any of that stuff in anyone else. It's only myself.
Yep.
And it comforts
Accurate.
me. It comforts me to think like,
Yes.
they didn't even notice because they're
Yes.
like, oh my God, I tripped over my, like you're just
Mm-hmm.
having your own moment.
So it sounds like from the chat, everyone's talking about there were two very imperfect people coming together with the illusion of perfection.
Yes.
When
Yes.
the yin and the yang coming together, and it was supposed to make everything happen. But what it's done, and I think Java Book Geek Girl said it best, was that the marriage exasperated and magnified their worst elements.
Same with Amy. Yes,
That's why I
I
said
agree.
there.
There's some great comments.
Like-
Caesar Irwin, if you could scroll up a little bit, because
Yeah.
there's a comment in there from the chat.
Who's that?
It's
Steven.
that's
Steven!
right here.
I love this as well.
What's disturbing about Nick's perspective is that
Yes.
he doesn't say anything good about any woman in the story.
Yes.
Yes and no. He does obviously love his sister Go.
And
He loves
Andy.
her. And Andy,
For all the wrong reasons.
for the wrong reasons, he does.
He's
have,
infatuated.
He's infatuated, and he understands that she's young and it's different
But
and all these different
she's an
things.
escape.
She's an escape.
Well, but I think also when things are new, that's another
Yes,
element of
for sure.
relationship. Totally different.
It's been a year, and you could trace it back to Gone Girl's diary. I'm forgetting her name.
Amy.
Amy's diary.
Amazing Amy.
Yes, I've had half a
Girl.
glass of wine. Girl,
You gone.
you gone, girl. Girl,
Girl.
she gone, girl. Nick, your wife is gone, girl. She gone. She gone, girl. There was a struggle. She gone, girl.
Guess what I say every time I hear this? I'm like, I know
She
what
gone,
it is. It
girl.
has to be this.
But you could even trace it to her diary in that first year. It was that happiness, that bliss, and also I think Nick speaks very fondly about his mother. I
He
think
does. He calls himself a mama's boy.
he calls himself Mama's boy.
But
he's
he got
very,
coddled
he's very
at the same
coddled and
time. He
everything.
got his crust
But
cut
other
off.
than that, he hates every other woman
Yeah.
who's ever been alive,
And he
that's a
hears
problem.
that his dad's voice in his head. But I
Yes.
also think that
But it's
early
his voice in
stages
his
of
head.
of Amy and Nick's relationship, they're not being honest with each other either. Like there's, I'm sure if you're like on a first date, it's like very aggressive to be like, here's all my shit. Like maybe
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
do that, or maybe do.
Don't
Or
show him
live your
physical
life.
shit either. That's like
Just-
a real
I know people that have
That'd be
done
really
that.
gross.
Yeah, that's
I know
not
people.
okay.
I know people that have done that, and they're married to this day. and
I
have a
mean,
kid,
I
you know?
definitely-
Because like two people appreciated honesty
because
to the
they
point where
got
it
they got
blossomed.
so sick of bullshit that they like
yeah.
first second
It
they're like,
works for-
okay, here's how I am, and they were like, cool, I'm in.
One
Yeah.
And then
of
it
the
worked.
things that I connected with my boyfriend about were like family
Yeah.
things where it
Yes.
was like very real and it was like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we got this.
Oh.
But I think like when you don't do that and then you get married and everything, people put a lot of pressure on finding the right person, on getting married, on having this life, on
Yeah.
the wedding itself.
Yes.
And then you're together and then you're always together. And then whether you like it or not, that shit comes out.
But also the life that we're talking about exasperating and exacerbating at the same time. Like these two people, when they got married and where they are now when we begin this story, they are not in the same city. They are not in the same occupation. In fact, they've both lost their jobs. They've had so much of a downfall from this perfection that they are not coping. And it's just fueling this aggravated resentment
Yes.
that they have and that they are
On both sides.
nurturing
They
at
hate
each
each
other.
other.
This absolute resentment that neither will really acknowledge. And the fact, like, you're so right, it's gone on for 3 whole years, and she's got her calendar with her red pen and her black pen, and she's just crossing
She's
out.
keeping score.
I
That's
hate it.
and that's competitive.
Yeah.
And it's nasty.
Guys, this is a stressful experience for me to read this book. It is so stressful in a different way that 1984 was stressful, in a
Yes.
different way than the other stuff
One
that
was
we read is
hopeless.
stressful.
1984 for me was hopeless. This one is just
This is
ghastly.
well, it's also
Yeah.
a little
Great Pokemon.
too real
Like a damage.
because there are selfish, shitty people.
Yes.
We've
in
met
the
these
world.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
we've
is.
met-
They're heightened versions of it, or they're
Yeah.
like 4 people combined into one asshole. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
DeMarco Draw says they presented what they thought others wanted to see. They both wore masks to attract each other, and that's why they're miserable together. When the masks come off, they see who they are, and they are a broken mirror reflection of each other.
that is so
Damn.
well
And,
said,
it's
DeMarco.
so
Holy
frustrating
hell.
because these people have this sort of like micro universe that they're dealing with, and I keep thinking about how, like, they're dealing with the most petty shit, and it all comes down to communication. Because other people in the real world, in the United States, around the world, they're dealing with much worse problems.
Mm-hmm.
And here you have 2 people that, by all accounts, should be doing fine and
Yeah.
checking in with each other, and they're not checking in. That's what's so stressful
So
about
it really does come down to what Life Customized is saying. They were never best friends. You need a best friend in your partner.
Yes.
So it was doomed from the start. That communication, that giving a shit, that
Mm-hmm.
basic level of
Well, I
it.
think also having
By the way, Tyler
other
Perry
things
follows
in
me
your-
on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Does he do YouTube? Because apparently he
No,
went on
you're
a-
very special.
Oh,
I
he
was, I'm
followed
gonna,
everyone
I'm
at
gonna.
some stage. It was like
I was
a
about
thing.
to. I was
It
about to
like,
say
oh.
I'm gonna follow Tyler Perry. I don't think I need to follow Tyler Perry on Twitter. I'm not super
He's so
familiar with
good.
his work.
We'll get into the movie the last week.
Yeah.
He's great in it. But
Oh,
I
okay.
think, too, there's another element of they don't have any. Well, Nick a little bit does, but they're both trying to find something else in their lives. Because I will say, while I do think it's important to communicate and to have a best friend,
You need balance.
You need other people in your life. You need friends who you can complain to
Yep.
and do other things with. And, like, they're not going to care about all the same things. They're not a carbon copy of you. And I feel like Amy, especially, is so isolated in this place
But
where
whose doing is that? At the same time, I don't even know if I'm sorry for her.
no, because she doesn't want to make friends there.
No,
Yeah.
the amount
Yeah.
of times it's like, oh, they invited me again, and again I said no. Or like, I think it was maybe even Nick saying that. And he was complaining that she would never do anything, and like, she just isolated and ostracized herself, and like became her own destructional
And
force.
in her diary, she does such a good job, and Gillian Flynn does such a good job of convincing you that she is not unreasonable when she talks shit about the Midwest. Do you know what I mean? Because of where she comes from. The way that writing is, Amy Dunn talks about the little things as if they're the most ass backwards shit ever, and totally unreasonable for her, a Manhattanite, to go and participate in. When really, it's like you can read between the lines and go, no, you're being shitty. You're being shitty, and you're not
she was
giving a
explaining
place
there
a
was
chance.
like a
and
Tupperware protocol.
yes.
And she's just like, come on,
Yes.
I didn't know and I had to buy a new one, and then they recognized that
and
the
you
Tupperware
and
was
you all of a
new.
sudden feel bad for a like very wealthy woman
Yeah.
who came from a very big city who had a lot of privileges and wealth and
Yeah.
opportunities. You all of a sudden feel bad for her when really you're like, I bet you that wasn't even that big of a deal, Amy.
Yeah,
like,
get
you-
over
like,
it.
come on.
come
the way,
on, Do you know
the
what
way
that
she
is?
describes people talking about New York when she says I'm from New York, about how she's being ostracized,
Oh,
and it's
wow,
like,
that's very
look, man,
nice.
when you're in a family, when you're in a group of friends, they'll accept you from where you came from. They'll accept, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like, oh, you're making all these reasons for you
Yes.
to be in the position you're in,
Yes.
which is still better
isolating
than everything.
herself, yeah.
Better than everything.
But
And
you're
that-
so
ugh.
you're so right about the language that she uses to describe things, because for the first time we're hearing that she's identified herself as being in a domestic violence marriage, and there is this instance where she was shoved, and what I found, because I listened to this twice, this particular moment, she excuses the behavior.
Yep.
But then also straight away, and you're like, oh,
Get
no,"
out,
and you instantly
girl.
feel sorry for her, and you're like, don't do that. And then she says again, like, I looked at his face and I realized he was restraining himself from doing it again. So she's painting this monster, but the language that she's using it is making it such like a real circumstance. Like, it's so believable, and it's like, oh, you're so great for saying that, it wasn't just all the fault on him. This is so.
Which
Whatever way-
is what happens a lot in domestic abuse.
Yes.
And
That's what was
and
hard for me.
emotional abuse.
Yeah.
and,
Really tough to read
And
that.
it's hard.
But she's completely like,
We don't
she's
know
made
who
it
to
so that
believe.
in every single any way you tackle this, he's bad, she's right.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
because at this point in the book too, we're getting two very different stories where she's painting a man descending into becoming an abusive husband who's racking up credit card debt and
She
know
needs a gun
ignoring
to
her,
protect
and she
herself.
needs a gun to protect herself, and he's painting this ice queen that didn't want to do anything. She didn't want kids, he wanted kids. And so you're getting these two perspectives and you're like, well, I don't like either of these people and I don't trust either of these people. Are they both right?
Is
in
there
some
a
way?
truth
What's
somewhere in the middle?
Yes, and
Yeah.
there's a show called The Affair that's
Oh,
really
yeah, yeah,
interesting
yeah.
because
I've
it
seen a bit of that.
it changes the surroundings a little bit
But the
depending on the
perspective as well,
perspective.
yeah.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
when your memory is not the same as anyone else's memory, and the more you go through it, it changes, etc. But like the wallpaper is slightly different, and the way that people say things is different.
interesting.
And so it's like, where is the truth? Are we ever going to learn it? Because we're getting
Yeah.
two perspectives, and they're both biased, but based on their experiences. And can you ever really know what really happened because you only have your experience?
Speaking of The Affair,
Andy.
Ben Affleck is having one. With the way that Gillian Flynn describes this woman, so young, super hot.
Perfect casting of the
super
movie.
Super
And when I watched
horny
the-
all the time. Like,
When I
God
watched the
damn
movie,
it.
I was like, why is she in it? Why?
Yeah.
Reading the book, I was like, good Lord.
yeah.
Like, this is so
Yeah.
perfect. I
Yeah.
take it all back. Sorry.
The
That's
point-
exactly how
Yeah,
she's described.
The
yeah.
point where I for
Huge
sure
norks.
lost. What's that? Huge what?
Norks,
Mm.
Baps, melons,
Short for. Oh, that's good. Keep going. More Australian ones.
Probably
Go, go, go,
could.
go,
tin cans.
go. Tin cans? Why tin?
Hello.
What? Oh, that's what you're. Okay.
That's gonna be.
Buzz.
That's awesome.
Buzz?
Short for bosom.
Short for bosom.
yeah.
I once made the mistake of telling Mum that I loved her hugs because she had big boobs, and now she tells everyone, Maud misses my boobs.
Yeah, you have mentioned that before. Yep.
That's
met my
like
mum?
that's
Yep.
we did. She was
Surprised she
lovely.
didn't give you the old
So
one
did
too.
so the old 1-2, the old razzle dazzle,
Mum, no, whoa, stop it.
Goldie
But
Hawn.
it feels
Whoa,
like home.
whoa, Maud's mom, watch out! I'm trying to promote a movie here. That's your mom.
Great. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Here's the part where Nick lost me as a character.
Sure. Oh, you're
One-
out. You lost.
1,000%
Damn.
lost me.
It wasn't like the very beginning.
No, because also, if this is possible, can we scroll up to a comment who I believe Mastera commented like I don't know, maybe an hour and a half ago
There it is.
about asking about the
DeMarco
male
is right.
perspective, because Gillian Flynn, female writer, writing the inner thoughts of I keep wanting to say Ben Affleck, Nick Dunn. Scroll up because they have a question in the chat. She's got a question in the chat about
While you're scrolling up
Yeah.
to find that, can we just love the play on words with the character named Nick Dunn?
yes, that's
Nick
great.
it.
Dunn.
Nick Dunn.
Who done it?
And Amy Dunn, but
Dunn
Amy had to
over-
be married into being Dunn because before she was Amy Elliott.
Elliott.
Amazing Amy.
Yeah.
Great question from Mastera. What is the perspective of men in the chat about how Nick's language is in comparison to Amy? The book is written by a woman, and I wonder what a man feels when reading a male perspective written by a woman.
Yes.
Does she get
Ooh,
the
what?
male perspective? And I
Great
think everybody
question.
was chatting about it. Here's what I have to say about it.
That's such a great
I
question,
can't
by the way.
relate, but I know that men are different from me in the same way that women are different from you as an individual woman or whatever. But at no point have I been reading this and have I gone, this is not a male, a guy wouldn't say this. At no point. And I haven't read the book, but watching the movie Twilight, when Edward Cullen says, I have this overpowering desire to protect you,
Yeah.
I went,
Shut up.
a guy would never say
Nope.
that.
Yeah.
Not even the most romantical guy. That was the thing where I was like, this is the most bullshit fake movie. Like I
that's
buy
some
pirate,
dream-
I buy vampirism.
No.
That is some
Yeah, yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I buy
the thing.
sparkly
This guy,
vampires,
he's
but
200.
not
He's
this.
228, but by
I-
God, is he not written by
I had
a man?
I had a feeling that the realization watching Twilight was, oh, this is what it must be like if a woman watches porn, produced, directed, and written by a man, starring women.
Actually,
char-
it just looks painful.
who just, I'm not talking about the physical
sorry,
act,
yeah,
but
okay.
but like
But
the
those are
but
mostly
like
produced by men.
the scenario.
Very
Yes.
big difference between porn directed at men.
There
and
Yes,
was
women.
yes, yes, yes,
nowhere
yes.
near enough,
So
like,
porn
wine and
directed
dine
at
for
men that has female characters and actresses in it saying things where I'm like, oh, a man. I'm like, this is what it must feel like for a woman to watch that pornography where a woman says a thing and they go, a woman would never say that.
And I don't
like,
need to tell
that's
this
what I
chat,
had
but
with
that's
Twilight.
not real life. So please don't apply the
Yes.
porn scenarios to real life. So any
Yes.
kind of hint of a wink or invitation means that you can instantly have sex with her.
That's true.
I just want to clarify because
Yep.
I've heard so many cases recently in light of a
Mm.
lot of events where
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's the Bible. That's all they know.
Well,
and
DeMarco Draws said that, you know, with what's happening in the news, which I think we can at least take back to toxic masculinity
Yes.
for sure,
Yep.
and ownership of another person, of another gender, expectation of that, and explaining to
Boundaries,
people,
lines.
boundaries,
Yeah.
explaining to people that like, when I'm at the grocery store, if I'm not making eye contact with you and smiling at you,
Not an
I would
invitation.
really appreciate if you let me buy my goddamn mac and cheese in peace. You know,
Yep.
like just
Yep.
that boundary. Where
But like, try if you're denied, it's done.
Yep.
My worst one is I'm on an airplane.
following, yeah.
I do not choose to sit next to you. This is where I've been allocated to sit. I can't sit anywhere else.
You guys-
go
This is
anywhere.
where I am. If I say no and my earbuds are in, good lord. I actually had a mad problem on a plane where I was harassed. And another man who was bilingual, because I couldn't understand a word this guy was saying. He had to resolve things. I got moved up to premium
Good.
economy
Good. Well,
that's
to get
great.
away from it.
Well,
which
yeah,
is
you
nice.
get trapped, but
I
think
literally
that this-
never have to deal with anything that you two ever have to deal with. Do you know why? Because I am an average looking male. That's why.
But isn't,
It
oh my
bums me
God,
out.
I would trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
that
I
meant
know.
I
It's
never
exhausting.
had
I know.
to have this,
I know. Of course.
done.
Of
And
course.
I will say there is also a misconception about it being based on like standard, like beauty
No,
standards.
none at all.
Not
None
at
at
It's,
all.
all.
when I took the bus from work many years ago, and I would have to stop at a stop, and people would come up to you or different things. I had people like all sorts of bad experiences. I started taking my makeup off at work and putting like a hoodie on
Goodness.
And it didn't make a difference.
to like, which is like so sad.
Yeah.
That's a really sad thing, but that was my way
To
of getting
deter
home.
attention.
Yeah,
Sure.
it did not work.
No.
But
That's the hardest part about coming forward with sexual harassment. People go, why is it so hard? I don't understand. What are the negative things to come from doing that? And a reaction that people have, whether they want to admit it or not, is if one woman comes forward and they're like, I had unwarranted attention from this person, people go, you did?
Yeah.
Why would they do it to
Yep.
you?
there are many terrible reactions, and I feel like a lot of it is systemic, and it's not. It's obviously it's not like every single guy. Obviously, there are so
Obviously not.
many
No way.
wonderful men in the world.
You don't have to
Everyone
hashtag not all
here-
men. You don't have
no,
to.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Sure, sure, sure.
specifically didn't say that.
Good.
Because I feel like, especially here with Nerdist and Geek and Sundry and Alpha,
Yeah.
I have always felt safe, and I work with very respectful people, and I'm glad that I don't have to worry about finding out something about someone that I work with because I know that they are cool
Legit.
dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole thing, like Nick, all of these voices in his head, and the
Oh
way
my
that he treats women,
gosh.
and the way that he
Yeah.
It's what he's
puts one on a
seen, he's
pedestal
adopted.
until they're not on a pedestal anymore. That's really dangerous, and I think that those things all tie in together. And so I don't blame you for not identifying with him because he is really shitty.
But also,
But
like,
that
this-
exists in the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
This,
What's
this
the part two that you were going to read?
What was I going to say? Did you
the
guys see
part
that
that where
article?
you lost. Where
Yes,
you lost.
I have that. I got my finger on it.
Yeah.
But did you guys see that article that somebody put out that said, if you men out there want to avoid any confusion about any of this
Oh, this is great.
going forward, just treat every woman like Dwayne The
Yeah,
Rock
The Rock,
Johnson.
yeah.
And I was like, and my girlfriend told me that, and I went, oh, that's so fucking brilliant. That is the most perfect.
Just touch biceps then.
Yeah. Oh, touch biceps. You're so
But
I mean, you
strong.
can try if you
to.
find it.
You
Yeah, yeah,
don't afraid to.
That is so true. Why
Exactly.
can't this man be our president already?
I know.
Seriously, he's so
He will-
good. Did
he
you
will
see
be
the
one
trash
day.
talking he did today?
If it's
Was
not going to be.
Tyrese Gibson?
Oh, really? I didn't. Because I don't want to know my Fast and Furious family are at odds.
La-
That's
it's
the-
bad.
La
It's bad.
Familia.
I know the Familia. I don't want to know that they're
Oh,
at
it's
odds. I
so
just want
bad.
to envision them all cracking open Coronas.
It's
and just
fresh
being
poop
okay.
bad.
Oh, God. If it's not going to be Dwayne The Rock Johnson, it's going to be Will Smith. But one of them will be our president.
Yeah.
But
But,
Eminem
yeah,
was
treat me like,
the president now?
Yes.
treat me
Eminem
like The
is now the
Rock.
president.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then when you like get back in the kitchen, I'm like, can you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Oh my God. So here's the part where Nick Dunn lost me as a character. It was the line that caught me. I'm going to try to read it like Ben fucking Affleck. Here we go. It was
Well,
like
Boston accent.
like Ben Affleck, which is all like
Boston.
Daredevil for me. That's all I get. Is Ben. It's not even Batman. Sorry, Ben. You're
I can't
Daredevil.
see where you're going with this.
You'll always be Daredevil. You'll always
Oh,
be.
anyone?
Huh?
I can't see where you're going with this.
No. A blind joke. Nicely done, Maude. Nicely done.
A Daredevil joke? Daredevil specific?
Okay, fair. All right, great. It was that line that caught me, the simplicity of it. The idea that I could do something and it would make a woman happy, and it would be easy. Whatever you give me, I'll like.
Yeah,
I felt
same.
an overwhelming wave of relief, and then I knew I didn't love Amy anymore. Right then, when I read that line, I went,
Douche.
no. I went, I get that. Here's where you go home, bro, because I knew what was coming. Because the rest of this chapter was him describing the first time he slept with this 23-year-old student of his student.
That's the thing.
Ugh.
There's a
Power
checklist of the
dynamics.
reasons
Power
why.
dynamics.
Yeah.
But that line, the
Oh,
thing
you want to be
where
a magazine writer in a glossy magazines? He even said, I went to completely shatter their dreams.
Yes.
And then they were so doe-eyed and wanted to know all about this perfect
I
world.
just
How
pictured
could I do
Indiana
that to
Jones, the
them?
woman with the "I love you" on her
Yeah.
eyelids, in his class.
yeah.
Professor Jones. But that line, but that thing of like him having a moment,
Also
a
clearly written
realization.
by a man. Sorry.
When you're no, sorry, what? Go ahead.
I just said that scene also clearly written by a man.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. What was that? Raiders? Was that in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
That's the first.
Yeah, it was Raiders.
That's the
Okay.
first one.
I think the screenwriter written by a man.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
For sure. 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I've had relationships in the past where maybe it was a realization. It's always a gradual thing when maybe I think this relationship is over, and it's always the shittiest thing. It's always so shitty.
Yeah, it sucks.
But it might be a thing where you hear something and you go, "That's when I knew I didn't love a
Yeah.
person." I think that's brilliant writing. I think I totally get that, and that's so relatable. But here's where you go home. Once you have that realization, you go home and you go, "We need to have a conversation. We need
Yeah.
to talk."
Something inside me flicked off. And I'm
But
sorry.
instead, this character then proceeded to cheat, and it's always
Not
it's
just
the
cheat.
shit. It's
He
just
pursued another relationship for over a year.
With
Over a
a
year.
very young
and he
woman.
talks
She's
and he
a
talks
little
about
puppy.
how
I mean, that is so
Yeah.
inappropriate
Yeah.
in so many ways, even without him being married.
Yes.
yes.
But I also think when you think about something, he keeps referencing like something turning off or not knowing what to do, to the point where Margot has to write pauses and smiles and looking and
Ugh.
actual human emotion into his speech for him, so that he doesn't look like a fucking asshole
Yeah.
smiling in that picture next to his potentially dead, definitely missing wife.
And pregnant.
And oh my God.
But they didn't know it at the time. But still,
But we don't
But-
know if he
Yeah.
did or didn't know it at the time,
But
because did
it's-
he find the
Yeah.
whole thing is we find out that she's leading up to the wooden cradle, and it's like, well, did he find the cradle and just snap? Like they're building it to this place where it's like, did he just snap? Did he finally snap? Did his program this horrible programming that he suffered as a kid that he didn't deal with and he
There
didn't
it
talk
is.
to
Oh.
someone about? Did it? Ugh.
I did that this
It's
morning
the
on
best
live television.
casting.
You did
Look
it
at
on-
his
did
dumb
that.
face.
I was
Ugh.
talking about sexual harassment on
And you
live
smiled.
television for New Zealand this morning, and there was this photo that I took where I was smiling with my mouth, but my eyes were dead. Yeah.
I
oh
saw
my.
where they
Yeah.
were like talking about
yeah.
this really
Oh
fun
man,
thing, but
Lindsay
it's great.
Lohan came to his defense, being like,
Yeah.
"This feels wrong.
Yeah.
We should stand by
Well,
him."
she
And then
needs
other
help
people
too.
have to come to the defense of Lindsay Lohan to be like,
She needs
listen,
help.
yes, she's had
Yeah.
she could have very easily had a troubled
That's
situation.
true.
It's not a normal upbringing. It's not
Yep.
a normal thing.
yeah.
There's so many levels of fucked up. There's so
Yeah.
many levels.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. You're right. Life customer said basically he knew it was over. He just said, "Fuck it. I'll be the bad guy."
Yeah, she will be the bad guy. He should have just bailed. Also, Life Customized says Hector is right on the mini. Right on the mini.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very nice. Thank
What
you.
is
But
that?
that's
I've never
but
heard
it's,
of that expression.
it's a
ever.
typo. It's right on the money.
Can we talk about?
I have to ask because I'm Australian, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
is that another
that's
American
a
thing?
new
I don't
one,
know.
like mini,
Oh,
Mighty Mo. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
okay, great.
Right on the mini, baby.
We're gonna say that now.
Let's
But
get
I
our
don't
wrinkle
want
on.
Let's get
At
our
least
wrinkle
I
on.
ask.
Yeah.
I'm not the person who's like, yeah,
Yes.
I've heard of it, and I start saying it from
don't
now
ever
on in my
assume.
vocabulary.
What
Never assume, that's
catchphrases
good.
have survived? I know. Let's get a wrinkle on.
Yes.
Can I just ask a few words?
Girl, she gone is definitely.
Girl.
She gone.
She gone, girl.
That's a
she
big
gone.
one.
She gone, girl.
Right on the mini is
She
now
pregnant?
gotta be
She
one.
gone. girl.
Yeah.
Right on
Hold
the
there
mini.
was on the other day that we all indulged in, I swear. I'm going to spell a word, and you're going to tell me how you say it.
Okay. This is always fun.
Shone.
Say, wait,
Shown?
spell it again. I'm so sorry.
Shone.
Shown.
Sean.
Sean. Cool.
Incorrect.
Next.
That's incorrect.
It's Sean in Australia. If you
Sean?
like the light Sean.
Sean the light.
Sean.
No, Sean is a name with a W
Sean.
sometimes.
Sean. It's not
What
even no,
is
because that's
world?
Sean, and I'm saying Sean. God, this is what it's like to be me. Anyway, another one. Tangy.
Tangy?
Tangy.
Great, because my audio dude said tangy.
Tangy.
I was
It is
like,
tangy.
no.
Tangy sauce. Yeah,
Tangy.
tangy sauce.
He's saying the G.
It's not tangy. It's tangy
Tang-
sauce.
I mean, you're
Tangy.
saying the G.
Yes, I am.
No.
See?
Tang-
Hear it.
Tangy. Tangy.
There.
You want some
Tangy.
spicy, tangy sauce? You got to go get that Szechuan sauce at McDonald's.
It sounds weird now.
Yeah.
Tang.
Are you saying the G?
Tangy.
There's no G. It's tangy.
Tangy.
No.
Hear me.
No, I think you guys are wrong.
No.
Ready?
Mod's definitely. Whatever it is, Mod's
Tangy.
definitely wrong all the time.
100%. But
Here,
listen.
you say it, Mod?
Tangy.
Yeah.
Incorrect.
Tangy.
Tangy.
Hold on. No, I wrecked it for everyone. Let's move on.
You
Let's
think that's good?
talk about
Here's-
Desi.
Yes.
Okay.
Desi,
Yeah.
poor Desi. I mean, Desi is
Desi's mother.
a
She
weirdo
needs a
of the
snack.
highest order.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I feel
strange.
like has everyone known a Desi?
No.
I've definitely known a Desi.
No, I don't think so. I avoid
Real
Desi's.
creeposaurus.
I don't associate with Desi's.
I
That's
mean,
probably why.
but what if you don't have a choice when you're like young? Like
Sure,
I,
sure.
you know, like when you're younger. Yeah, I definitely don't now.
Really
but
good
like,
casting with NPH, by the way.
I mean, this movie.
I'm torn. He
Okay.
sounded Asian in this book a bit to me.
Really?
Yep.
That's who you picture.
Well, also,
Every time
yeah,
you say almond
Desi.
eyes,
Desi could be like an Indian name.
dark.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
He
So
could
the-
even. He could be.
was he supposed to be an India guy, and then in the movie they cast a white actor?
No, because
Typical Hollywood. Typical
Before off your soapbox, because
Okay,
mum,
okay, all right.
looked exactly like Amy.
Yeah,
at 15,
but
20,
that doesn't
25.
true.
necessarily mean that.
Mama and Papa. Papa's not in the picture.
Yep.
Papa could
Oh,
be
thank
an
you.
Indian guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Food for
just
thought.
I
never
just
know.
think
Might
that
call Gillian up.
this type of person. Okay, so Amy is amazing. Amy is so smart. Desi is the worst.
Desi straight up sucks. Desi's a creep. Desi is the worst.
Yep.
Super creepy. But
Desi's
so
the
I'm
ultimate mother
thinking
boy.
of.
Yeah, Desi was sucking on his mama tit till 7.
Oh yeah, he's the kid from. You don't watch Game of Thrones. He's
Oh, Robin Aaron.
Moondor.
Robin
Moondor,
Aaron.
Yeah.
That was in season 1.
oh.
that was like a
oh, they come
6-year-old.
back.
Shooting the
There's-
eyes
yeah.
while doing that.
Oh, why did you do?
What's that?
Sorry. No.
No, don't.
What? What'd you say?
I looked you in
Don't
the
stay
eyes
on it.
while I did that.
When you
But-
did that,
so-
yeah. Why did you do that? I kind of saw that, but I think
Super
my eyes were like, Hector, look away, and I looked at Rachel. I was like, that
Like,
character was in
I eat
season 1.
bananas in private, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I don't make eye contact, do a lot of stuff, but I did that for you.
She's got Betty Davis eyes.
Baby Desi eyes?
So, I don't know if this is a. I don't want to make a generalization about wealthy people.
Oh, please
however,
do.
However,
I'm very prejudiced towards wealthy people.
I received scholarships to go to private schools in Los Angeles,
Excellent.
and so I went to school with a lot of.
That's
'cause
actually
I
really
didn't.
well done.
I did not have. I was definitely not like.
But
in
well
the-
deserved, Rachel. You're a good person.
Thank you-
Continue.
Thank you very much. And to various effect of actual learning, but went to school with a lot, and just in Los Angeles, there are a lot of wealthy
Yes, I went to
people
school with wealth as well.
celebrity, yeah. So, and he definitely reminds me of someone that has all of everything given to him, but there's one thing that he doesn't have.
Do you guys
yes.
say eats from a silver spoon?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
That.
But the other thing is that Amy strikes me as the person who is very charismatic. She's very cool. She's
the
wealthy.
ultimate dick tease as well.
she's-
Can we just say that? I reckon she's been playing him along the entire time to have him as an ally in her pocket.
Yeah,
Possibly, possibly.
and manipulative, and she seems like the type of person who maybe thrives on drawing people into her,
makes people
like her
worship
friend.
her.
Yes, and
Yeah.
there's that girl. I just picture this girl at school. I will not name her, but she knows who she is because she was a mean bully, and yeah. And no, I'm not going to accept your friend request on Facebook. You were terrible to me.
Yeah, she
but
sounds
one
awful.
of those people who like has their like
It's
holds
me. It's
court.
Mean Girls.
Yes.
What was
It's
the
worse
character's
Queen
than
Bee.
name?
It's the
it's
Queen Bee
worse than
effect.
Mean
Why are you so
Girls,
obsessed with
though.
me?
It's even worse
Yeah.
than that. It's real
But it is this Queen Bee effect.
insidious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like he's a super creep, but I feel like he also was the perfect prey for her.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Into her web.
It makes
I mean,
sense.
he obviously has mummy issues to the point where he sees her and wants to do right by his mother via Amy.
Gross.
I feel like, I'm not going to say that, that's for sure. Try and get out of that though. All I can see is just,
And then he has
What?
Java Book Geek Girl says he has a photo of
Yeah,
them still
still.
in their home.
Yeah.
I don't have any photos of any of my exes.
you can't leave this man
I don't.
alone in your room because he will go straight to your underwear drawer.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, he's that guy. Yeah.
And if I'm and if
They
I'm
couldn't cut off me fast enough for that. But you know what I was saying. Good. Moving on real quick.
Lawson Number says the line where Desi describes Amy like being a hot bath gave me all the creeps.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What an analogy. He could have used anything. He could have said a flower in a flower garden. He could have said anything, but it was like a warm bath. And then you realize you're in a cold bath alone. But the fact also, like,
Yeah.
you almost respect Nick more going how he felt so gross and dirty
Sure.
having another man talk about his wife like that. And
Because
you're like,
Nick
finally
is
standing
up to this point a regular shitty man who's been having an affair. But Nick is a regular shitty man who's been having an affair.
Yeah.
Desi's like
Next level.
is like a person that is not a regular person.
100%.
There's something
He's not normal.
off about him.
Yeah. So you want to talk about how nature and nurture plays a part into who you become. Like this is so obvious with him when you do see, and I think I was mentioning this last episode, how because we know the relationship with the parents, we are seeing a whole lot more into their character and their characteristics. We're having this again with Desi. Desi is to this stage quite a minor character. He doesn't have much airtime. He doesn't have much about him here, and yet we know his high school life, his relationship with his mother, interactions with his mother. Like we know so much about him, and I think a lot of that does come from the fact, it brings up the mother a lot, how it looks like Amy.
And she's being very coquettish with
She's a
Nick
hard
little
bitch.
bit. Yeah, she's
And then she hands him the card with the lawyer in it. It's just like, are you
Yeah.
protecting your son? Did he
She's
murder
dismissive,
her? Yep.
but she's stirring the pot. She's throwing her son under the bus. Like there is such power play from this woman to the fact that Nick goes, where are her pearls? I'm looking for a pearl
Yeah.
necklace at this stage.
That's true.
Well, what's interesting too is that so far our version of Amy
You
is
are
through
so
Come on,
sweet.
what's on
You're
your
a
mind?
good,
What's on your
you're
mind?
a good
I'm
person.
always
What are you saying?
My mind
What?
is in the gutter
What did you
all
say?
the
What
time.
happened? What did I
I
miss?
don't know how
Nothing.
it
What
happens. I'm
happened?
like
Well,
a
now I have to
16-year-old
know.
boy. I'm a 16-year-old boy. If I hear something and I don't have a poker
Pearl
face,
necklace.
I'm like,
Pearls?
Oh, gross. Not.
no, take that back.
All right. Nope, that wasn't a take back. That was another high five. That's two high fives. All right, here, let's do a reverse. Let's do a reverse five. Psych. That's another five. Okay, let's do a reverse. Put your hand.
No,
Put
don't
your
trust
hand up
him,
to mine.
ever.
Put your hand up to
Ever.
mine. You can trust me, Maude. Put your hand up to mine, and we'll do
No.
one of these.
But you
We'll
know
do it
what?
3
Newfound
times.
respect
You're gonna
for
do
you.
the Rocky Horror.
But that's backwards.
That doesn't count.
Newfound respect for you though. Big time.
The Rocky Horror
We're
Picture.
awful.
What? What's the
so
Rocky
bad.
Horror
No, we're
Picture
sex
Show?
positive.
That's true. That's a great comment. Thank you for
Like-
highlighting that. We'll get to that in a second. Go, Rachel.
Here's the. Oh,
Hector.
that's true. Nice.
Pearl necklace, bro.
Put your tongue back in your mouth. It's insect. Put
Wait,
your tongue
I
back
have
in your mouth.
something to say about character.
Go ahead,
Damn
Rachel.
it.
Rachel,
Okay,
please
so-
take the stage.
Please. So we're hearing from Amy, and obviously we can tell that she's kind of painting herself as poor me.
Yes.
But when we're saying that Desi's mom,
Yes.
that Amy reminds him of his mom, and his mom is such a bee.
Yeah.
Then you're like, ooh, do we really like? That's another log on the fire of
Yeah,
like,
it
do we
is.
trust her? Because it's like, are you just attracted to her because they look the same, or is it
I
like
didn't
you
piece
love
that
cold
together,
and
but you're right.
domineering women?
Yeah.
Because probably the latter.
Well, he's obviously, he needs to be told what to do.
Yeah.
He looks for people to be
People-
abusive.
Nick or
And even
Desi
in
or
a
both?
non like
Desi.
gross physical attraction way, people do play out patterns in their
Yeah.
family in
Yes.
relationships all
Yes.
the time.
Agreed.
And so it's like,
I've definitely seen similarities between my own mom and like the women that I've dated. Do you know what I mean? Like it's happened.
there's a reason that there are psychological
My mom,
theories
full-blown
about all of it.
feminist. My mom. Here's a interesting.
That's why you're so cool.
Accented.
One
thank
of
you.
many
It's
reasons.
mainly because of my mom.
One of many
Here's a great
reasons.
accented struggle my mom deals with. Sit in the chair and chair your food. That's what my mom deals with her Mexican accent, which I think is adorable. And it's been my whole life been like,
should bring
Mom,
your
it's
mom."
it's chair and share, and she'd be like, that's what I said. Sit in the
true.
sit in the chair
I
and
wanna
share your
meet
food.
She
mom
did.
so
She
Yeah.
said it. She's right.
Yeah. She's gonna be visiting on the weekend of when Stranger Things come out, the 28th.
Can we hang out with your mom?
Yeah, maybe. My mom's really funny. I'll show you guys a video that I still have on my phone where she's messing with a puppet and she makes a really funny joke. And then I posted it once and she got real nervous. She's like, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm like, it's fine. But I'll show you a really funny video of my mom
Okay.
being really funny. But great comment from Thierry in the chat. The way I see all of Amy's past relationships is that they all are still worship her.
Still worship her.
Nick is the only one that seemed capable, or I guess, of stopped loving her, of being able
Well,
to stop loving her.
Is that going
Seems
back
accurate.
to our original kind of like thesis of this whole episode is like they didn't get to know each other well, they didn't show each other their true selves. Maybe she didn't let anyone get to that point.
No, she's
Yeah.
a pampered princess. I'm sorry, I completely agree with you with the whole fact that she wants to be on a pedestal. She wants to be worshipped. She wants to be idolized.
I don't
Those-
know what she wants. I still don't
little
know what she.
things where
That's the
it's
thing about
like-
Amy. I still don't know what
I
she
think
wants.
she wants. I do think that that's true, but I think that up until Nick, maybe it's that no one ever. She never thought that anyone was good enough to fit that, and so she
Maybe.
decided like,
Sure.
okay, I think that he's
And
it.
she found
he
Ben
will,
Affleck. Yeah.
It's a whole. It's definitely a pedestal thing where there are many people out there who will put you on something and expect everything of you, and if you do one thing wrong,
Punish.
you're done for, and it
oh,
feels
done for. Not an accident.
and
We did it.
and
We
it feels
connected
like she thought he can handle it. He's smart. He's fun. He's He's as handsome. Like they fit each other weirdly, even though they're terrible. They do fit each
Yes,
other. They
they
both
do.
think they're very smart.
Ugh.
They both love to write. They both love
They're both
words.
snobby.
They
They're
love
shitty
playing
puzzle
with,
pieces that fit
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And they're both beautiful
Yep.
in different ways that make you want to hate them a little bit.
Yeah.
Or they think make you want to hate them a little bit because we're
But
not
they
all
love
that
it.
terrible. Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like, poor me.
And yeah, yeah.
And he, it feels like he failed to live up to that.
Yeah.
And so
So
did
Marco
she.
Draw is dropping some truth bombs saying you can date women like your mom, but do not date to find a woman to turn into your mom or be your mom.
Gross.
Hell yeah.
Truth.
Oedipus.
it.
Oedipus. I like Mysterious.
What? What did you just say?
Oedipus.
Oedipus.
You have to.
Oedipus.
No, Ma, that's one. Okay, stop right there. Your accent is the best. This is one you must correct. You must correct your pronunciation of Oedipus.
Oedipus.
Not
You literally
eat.
just said eat a puss. That's literally what you just said. No, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
Yeah,
That's not a good thing.
I heard
Thank
it, but I
you.
was like,
Oedipus. Oedipus. This is worse than, I let it slide when people pronounce Uranus. I'm like, fine, you can pronounce it Uranus, but
it's fun.
you cannot say eat a puss, Maud. Maud, you cannot say eat a puss. You have to say
Watch
Oedipus.
me. Oedipus. Yeah. If you want to, if you
All right,
don't, but it has to
fine.
be consensual.
becomes like
We're sex
we're gonna
positive.
get a
Red
an
flag.
umbrella. No, an umbrella. Just pull us up.
A little Apollo
Can we go
hook.
up to Miss Sarah's response to Theory, which I think is absolutely fantastic. As I said before, Amy has always been a tourist in people's lives. When Nick is the only person that she's settled with, so that when he starts rejecting her, that feels like the worst betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Oedipus. I could.
She even had a pause between eat and puss. I swear. That is not an Australian
felt
accent.
like-
That is
I thought
Maud
it was
Garrett trying to.
intentional.
I know.
thought it was
Me too. Me too. Man, like the
No,
first
I
time,
was about
like
to say something else, but I realized that's so inappropriate
No.
for this particular
Sure.
networking, and become saying thank you for figuring out how to shut your mouth in this instance. But there you go. We got to wrap this up. Yeah.
we gotta wrap this
Maud,
up.
Maud, no. Sorry, guys. Oedipus. I'll tell the entire
That's
24
perfect.
million people in my country.
Yeah, please do.
We're all hornbags,
Yeah.
and that's got to stop quickly, especially when you realize what Oedipus is all about.
Yep.
No! Stop!
Yeah.
No, I think I'm fired.
Okay.
Okay, great. It was so great being on Alpha Book Club, guys. Really appreciate it. Shouldn't have brought
The
the wine
only way it
back.
could have been worse
Totally
is if you had
sorry.
slipped the word mom in there. If you had literally said eat a mom's puss. That's the only way it could have been worse. Only way.
You know what?
Basically that bad.
In defense of my dad, if that's what he
No.
Yeah, defense of
No.
my dad.
Here,
Dad, high five.
wait. Can we trade the high
High
five
five for
for
Dad.
was up? We'll let you
No!
have it back.
Yeah, okay, ready? What's up? All right, my man.
That's Oedipus for sure.
That's my favorite.
Well,
All
Anyway,
right.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go. What's our homework?
yeah, what is our homework?
Read up to page 300 in the book, actually, and the title chapter, chapter title, because it doesn't actually have chapter numbers. This one's Elliot Dunn, 9 Days Gone. Really
Which is such a long time as someone who reads a lot of thrillers about when people
don't.
go
Missing.
missing
Yeah.
and
You're
murder
48
and
hours.
He
stuff.
says the
The
first
windows.
48 are the
48.
most. Yeah.
48 is
we all know
like-
that.
kind. So
Yeah.
9 days is like they think she's done.
Comments are great. I'm so glad. That actually makes me feel so much better. That makes me feel so much
Stop
better.
bringing up the Hannibal thing. It was taken out of context.
You know what? You do you. If I die and I'm
Yeah.
like, here,
I don't
organs
wanna
to
eat
people.
people.
I'll give you my pinky. Just have a little nib nib.
It just looks good on the show. It's not
When you
real
put it
people
when you
on
put
the
it
show.
in that context,
Show did look good.
what our
Thank
dads
you.
are doing and what they're eating, it's not as bad.
No,
Rachel's
that's
eating
like
people.
I really find like motherfucker. It's like how is that insulting?
Yeah.
People doing it all the time.
Mother
You wanna
lover,
fuck
more
'em
like
up?
it.
Yeah.
Mother
Yeah.
lover.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard Aaron. Okay, I gotta stop, guys.
What? Damn.
Yeah.
What
gotta
is it,
stop.
dog?
Don't
Don't forget, we are
Mother's
also on
Day.
Goodreads, and Goodreads does not have any kind of restrictions for what you can say. Search Alpha Book Club. Come discuss some things there.
But don't be gross. But don't be gross.
I'm
You
not,
can be gross.
How is this
Yeah, you can be
gross?
gross.
I
It's
resent
not
that any
gross.
of this is gross. By the way, if you're interested in joining us on Skype, you should come on by.
Wait. I'm gonna give it over to you, Maude.
That
Ready?
was amazing.
Thank you, guys. Oh yeah, there you go. You can have it back, but give it back. Please give it back. You can give it back though.
Oh, I didn't.
Thanks, guys. Just join us on Alpha. Join Team Alpha is the place that you can chat to us on Twitter. Just use the hashtag as well, Alpha Book Club. Courtney can get you all set up for that one. Please have a chat with us, guys. You cannot say anything that is bad as what I have said on this show tonight. I have set the standard for you. You're welcome. Come in and say anything, and it will make.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
okay, obviously with preliminary boundaries with it all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Just be kind. Golden rule.
yeah.
Then you're good.
Anything about the book, and you'll do great. Also, we're going to need a book after this one as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be probably horror, is my guess.
We
Or
may have something in mind.
oh,
Ooh,
go
we're
on.
gonna do
Can
a
you say it now?
Thanksgiving book.
We'll tease
Okay.
it out. But send
It's
your
still
recommendations.
Yes, because all I can hear is Golden Compass and Harry Potter in my peripheral.
I
so
want that.
anything else would be kind of cool.
I
as
think
well.
our theme for December should be like
Bucket list.
The bucket, yeah.
Yeah.
For
I
the
think
year.
we got to do Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Sorcerer's Stone. We got to do it.
Yeah.
We have to do
We
it.
could also.
You know
do
that
Golden
Philosopher's
Compass.
Stone sounds better, right? Can we disagree on that?
No, Sorcerer's Stone.
No,
sounds
sorcerers
better.
are cool.
And we say
Yep.
Philosopher's
Philosopher's
Stone.
a
sorcerer
teacher
is,
and
all
boy.
is
over.
magic.
Thank you.
Philosopher
Hey
is
guys,
cool.
we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing. Every show is random and we appreciate that, and so do you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
No, Philosopher is like.